it's D-Man with the voices on the track. What's going on, everybody? It's me, it's Dylan T. Happy November, happy Turkey Month, everybody. That's right, it's Turkey Month. It's Turkey Month, it's Thanksgiving Month, okay? You Christmas sluts and you ho-ho-hos out there with all your jingle fucks trying to make it Christmas time already before Thanksgiving, fuck you. Fuck you, it's Thanksgiving time. It ain't Christmas time till after Thanksgiving, fuck you. You understand what I'm saying to you? I hate you. I hate you. I don't hate you. I don't actually hate you. Okay, let's bring it back. I don't actually hate you. But seriously, when did it become okay to start celebrating Christmas? Like some people start celebrating Christmas before Halloween. Fuck you, exponentially. But like, when did it become okay to start celebrating Christmas like a start of November? Like Thanksgiving isn't a thing, right? Like, I get it, okay, I get it. It symbolizes, like, the pilgrims taking from the Indians or whatever the fuck people think it, whatever. I don't care, okay? It is about giving thanks. It's about spending time with family that you hate. It's about getting stuffed on food that's bad for you and falling asleep on the couch while the uncle goes on a racist rant, okay? It's about the kids running around the dinner table while everybody's trying to enjoy their meal and you're like, sit down at the kids' table! And they just won't sit down! You know what I'm saying? Like, it's about your dad and your uncle getting into a fist fight in the front lawn because they're both wine drunk, right? It's about the local, the football game where your shitty little cousin inevitably gets hurt and starts crying, so everybody has to stop, right? It's about family, right? It's about family. Anyway, with all that being said, it's an Am I the Asshole reading, right? Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Follow me over on Twitter X. I'm a voice actor. I say funny shit over there. And, yeah, let's get into this story that has absolutely nothing to do with Thanksgiving. But, I had to go on that little rant. That's it. Let's go! Alright, everybody, I would like to start this off by saying that I realize they're Native Americans, not Indians. Okay? I was in the middle of a rant, and I misspoke. Unclench! It's not that serious. But I do say, yes, Native Americans, they were here first. This is their country. Everyone else here is just a visitor. You hear that, trumpets? You hear that? Okay? This is not the white man's country. We're also visitors here. So if you're talking about you want all the immigrants to leave, you gotta get the fuck out too. So do I. See how stupid you sound? Anyway, I digress. This is not a political channel. Okay? It's not a political channel. But, you know, I am somebody who yells my opinions on the internet all the time, so eventually you're gonna hear some of my thoughts on political things. Sometimes. Probably. I try not to, but, you know, the state of everything right now, it's kind of hard not to talk about it, right? If you couldn't guess, I am not a Trumper. At all. Like, at all. Now, I'm not a die-hard Democrat either. You know what I'm for? Logic, reason, and good sense. And morals. Morality. That's what I'm for, okay? And if you're voting for and you're going with Trump, I question your morality. And I don't care if you're listening to this as a stranger or a family member or one of my friends. If you're voting for Trump at this point, given everything we've seen, everything we've heard, everything we know, your morality is in question. That's just how it is, okay? Like, I'm not somebody to be on a high horse and, you know, talk down to anybody and tell anybody what to think or how to feel or whatever that. People are all over the people, different strokes, different folks, all that. But in this case, with this situation, everything we know, if you pay attention for I'm begging you to pay attention for 5 minutes. Take the MAGA colored glasses off, I'm begging you, and just pay attention objectively for 5 minutes. And you will see that it's not a right or left issue. It's not a Republican or Democrat issue. It's about morality versus immorality. It's about good versus bad at this point, man. It really is. And I hate to say that. It makes it sound so dramatic. But it really is about who's right and who's wrong. He and all the people who follow him are wrong. They're just morally wrong. It's reprehensible. Their behavior is completely unacceptable. Okay? And this is coming from somebody who is not a Democrat. I am not a leftist. I am not left-wing. I could go all day about the problems with that side of the fence and all the issues and the hyper getting offended about everything and yada, 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 right? I'm somebody who says what I mean what I say what I think all the time. And, I mean, I make jokes that some people might think are offensive sometimes. But, like, all that aside, like, this is, like I said, this is not a partisan issue. This is a moral issue. Like, morally. I can't. Anyway, God, I am so sorry. You've probably been staring at this screen. You probably read the whole story by now. You probably clicked off. You ain't even... Maybe you're busy typing a mad comment being like, "I fucking dare you, Trump 2024. MAGA, slaughter the immigrants." You know, like you're in the comments right now getting real mad. Welcome. Go fuck yourself. Well, that being said, let's actually get into the story. The reason you're here. I've been talking for, 5 minutes now, and I haven't talked at all about the story. Like I said, you guys probably read it already. Jesus. Okay. Am I the asshole for defending my oldest daughter to my younger children? Let's see. I have 3 children with my now deceased ex-husband. My oldest is in her 30s and my younger 2 are in their 20s. When the kids are still under the age of 14, my ex and I divorced due to his cheating. He also had his mistress pregnant. Yikes! My younger 2 remained close with their dad and later with the 2 children he had with his mistress, though they never got close to her. Okay. While my oldest chose to end her relationship with her father, and the courts allowed this through allowing me full custody of her. That is her prerogative, right? That was her. She was old enough to make that decision. That is her. She decided she didn't want anything to do with her dad. That was her choice at that point. When my oldest was 20, their father passed away and his mistress had a breakdown and ended up unable to care for her kids. She later died. Jesus. Are you telling me his mistress died of a broken heart? God, that's some fairy tale shit, huh? Good Lord, that's some Romeo and Juliet. No, that's not what happened in Romeo and Juliet. That was toxic. My younger kids wanted me or their older sister to take their half-siblings in. I said no to them and told them I could not possibly do it. Their focus was mostly on their sister, who made it very clear she would not be doing anything for them and did not wish to meet them either, which she never has. That is her prerogative, as I have said. That is her prerogative, okay? She doesn't want anything to do with her father's, mistress kids. She doesn't have to. It's not up to her. It's not, it is, I misspoke. It is up to her. It's like, it's her thing. It's her thing, right? She doesn't have to deal with them. She doesn't want to. My kids and I were all in therapy at this time, but the resentment still lingered in my younger 2 children, which I was not aware of because they had appeared to do much better. And of late, they have been incredibly hostile to their sister. Oh, crap. They told her they deserved to have a relationship with the halves, and the halves deserved to be with their family instead of being separated and adopted out individually. They blamed their sister for their half-siblings wanting nothing to do with them today. The argument is their sister was old enough to take them, but they weren't, and she punished the 4 of them in the process. It wasn't her responsibility to do that. God, there's so many of these stories that I read of people putting this kind of things on people that don't deserve to have the things put on them. Those are not her kids. She's under no obligation to do anything for them, right? Like, good Lord. Like, maybe if the mistress hadn't died of a broken heart, she could have taken care of her kids. This has caused, maybe she had cancer or something. I don't want to be a dick, but I am a dick, so fuck it. This has caused a total breakdown in the relationship between my oldest and younger 2, and my younger 2 wanted me on their side. However, I defended their sister by pointing out that she was only 20 and in college and not likely to get accepted anyway, but also reminded them that she had no relationship with their half-siblings and did not wish for one. Exactly. I told them she was entitled to make her choice in her best interest. This led to them saying I could have and should have taken them too. Are you kidding me? You want her to take the mistress babies just because? Why? Like, whatever. That they tried to have compassion for me because of the affair, but I seem so happy their half-siblings are out of all our lives. They asked me how I can be okay with their sister abandoning family to a broken system, and how I can feel good about raising her that way. They also told me I am taking her side by defending her, and because I said to them that they were allowed their own feeling, because I said to them that they were allowed their own feelings, but had to accept others would feel differently, which they said was me implying that they were wrong and she was right. Their anger at me has intensified now. Am I the asshole? No. How the fuck is that implying that she's wrong and that they're wrong and she's right? All she said was they're allowed to have their feelings, but they have to accept that others would feel differently. How is that implying that she's right and you're wrong? All that the mom said was literally, people are going to feel differently about this situation. She said, you're entitled to feel how you're going to feel. So is she, right? Like that's all she said. So I failed to see how that's an issue at all. Let's get down to these comments. Y'all can read while I talk. Look, so is the mom the asshole? Absolutely not. Neither is the older sister. Because while it is not the children, the half-siblings, the mistress kids, while it is not their fault, they didn't do anything, right? They didn't do anything wrong. They didn't do anything to anybody. Their parents did what they did, made their choices, had them, and it's not their fault for anything, right? However, it is also not the responsibility of the oldest sister or her mother to do anything about that if their family can't take care of them, right? Like what about grandparents? What about other aunts and uncles, right? Why is taking care of the kids immediately falling onto the 20-something-year-old sister and the ex-wife of the father of these kids, right? Like, how is she at all being brought into it? Like, she was cheated on and left, and then he had more kids. How are those kids her responsibility at all? They're not. They're also not her daughter's responsibility at all. And so, like, while we can talk about how, like, well, it would be nice if she did this, or it would be nice if that or that. And yes, it would. It would be nice, right, if they had stepped up, I suppose, and done some things. That would have been very altruistic and very selfless and very nice of them to do. But it does not make them bad people that they didn't. Right? Those kids were not their responsibility in any way, shape, or form. And so for the younger two to be so upset and so mad and so, like, talking down to their older sister and down to their mother about how they're bad people and this and that and how they should have did this and should have did that is, like, you completely lost the plot here, okay? Because while the fact that your half-siblings want nothing to do with you has nothing to do with them. Right? It has nothing to do with them. Like you need to cultivate your own relationship with your half siblings, whether they want you to be around or whatever the fuck, right? Like, why are you so mad at them for not taking care of kids that they have nothing to do with, right? Just because, like, you're half related to them, so all of a sudden they're your mother who has no relation to them whatsoever's responsibility. They're your older sister's responsibility because their dad died and then their mom had some kind of issue and then also died. That's very fucking tragic. That's super tragic that happened to them. But that doesn't make them automatically, like, I'm just so flabbergasted by the idea that the mother should have taken care of them. Like, what? And obviously they're pointed more at the sister, but that's equally as asinine to expect a 20-something, young woman entering college at the time to take care of her dead father's mistress's kids. Like, what? What are we even talking about here? Obviously, the person who posted this and the older daughter are not the assholes. And the younger two, I mean, I don't want to say, like, well, they're young, they're learned. But, like, honestly, this attitude they're having is a very young person attitude to be having. Like, what? Easy for you to say, too, right? Easy for you to say all this stuff about them because you were too young to take on the responsibility. What are you saying, that if it happened to you now in your 20s, that you would have taken that on? Easy to say, right? Easy to say now when the situation's not presented in front of you. Easy to be on your high horse when you were never an option to care for them to begin with because you were too young, right? Yeah, it's really easy to judge now. It's really easy to be on your high horse now. Now that the old half siblings don't need the care, and you can say, well, I would have taken them if I was in your place, right? Like, okay, sure you would have, but like, man, I don't know. It's just those kids were done dirty, right? They were done dirty by their father and their mother and probably the system. Who knows what happened to them? Maybe they got adopted out. Maybe they went into the system. I don't know. And I feel for those kids. I do. I feel for the half-siblings. They have done nothing wrong in this situation. I feel for them in terms of, what happened to them. I'm sure what they went through. Losing both parents, definitely not easy. Going through whatever they went through. I mean, I really do feel for them. And they have done nothing wrong. And it would have been nice if some sort of family member around, say grandparents, aunts, uncles, whatever, maybe stepped up. But the younger siblings are wrong for pointing their anger at their older sister and their mother for not, taking on these kids. They are wrong for pointing their anger at them because the older sister made a decision that she didn't want anything to do with her father after what he did, and that was her prerogative. And your mother was done with him after he cheated on her. So, they are out of this situation. And like I said, while it is tragic what happened, it has nothing to do with them. And so pointing your anger at them and expecting them to magically just come in and do something now after years of no contact, years of nothing happening, of not being involved at all with that situation or their lives, expecting them to just come in and just save everything is ridiculous, frankly. It's ridiculous to expect that. So, with all that being said, everybody, I think that's really about the size of it on this one. That's really, let's look at a couple more comments here, but that's really about all I gotta say about it. The younger two, as this person said, your younger are immature assholes. They are. They're immature, and they're acting like dicks. And, of course they're immature. They're young. Like she said, they're in their 20s. I don't know how young in their 20s, but clearly too young, so young that they're still having these immature, ideas on things. With all that being said, everybody, let's get into the outro. It's outro time. All right, everybody, that's the end of another one. Thank you so much for listening and watching. Thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out with me. And like I said, I don't usually get political on here, but at the beginning I did a little bit because, like I said, it's moved into more of a moral issue than a political one at this point. And so, but still, people are going to do what they want. They're going to do what they want, and there's nothing I can really do about it. So, agree with me, disagree with me. I'm just begging you to stay educated. That's all I want. I just want people to be educated and formulate their own opinions. That's all. So, with all that being said, everyone, before we go, let's get into the special message. And today's special message, facts are important, everybody. Facts are important. The truth is important. What is real, what is true is important. Morality is important. What we say, what we do, the things we put out into the world, they are important. The way we treat people is important. The way that we perceive people is important. The way that people perceive us is important. The way you present yourself and your arguments and your thoughts and feelings into the world is important, and it matters, right? And it feels like that's all common sense, right? It is. It's all like, yeah, obviously the things you say and do are important and they matter. But we're in a climate right now where it seems like a certain person, no matter what they say or do, no matter who they insult, no matter who they hurt, no matter what they say or do, there are going to be people that just either they choose not to hear it, or they like what they hear because they feel that way too, or they just, I don't know, they choose to exist in willful ignorance. I'm trying to be as diplomatic as I can here. I'm trying not to insult people. I'm trying not to call people names. So I don't want discourse. I don't want arguments. I don't want name calling or insults thrown around. I just want people to understand that let truth matter. Let facts matter. Let the way someone acts and behaves matter to you. Like, I'm not sure what really to say other than we need to get back to understanding each other, loving each other, and hearing each other, being willing to hear each other, right? Being willing to listen. Don't shout people down because they disagree with you. Listen to the other side of an argument. But also, when somebody comes in and they're not coming in with an argument or legitimate concerns or things, they're just throwing around insults, they're throwing around hate speech, they're throwing around fear-mongering, that's not the same thing as having a difference of opinion or a difference in argument. That is being morally reprehensible. Okay? Understand the difference. We can have differences of opinion. What we can't have is the way that man is behaving and the way that people around him are behaving, the way they're being allowed to behave, the way that the people that are diehards for him are being allowed to behave. So if you're somebody listening to this and you're not a diehard MAGA, whatever, like, just ask yourself, man, like, is what you think he's going to do, which he isn't. I promise he isn't going to do what you think he's going to do. He was never as good as you think he was. Is it worth everything? Because that is what is at stake here, is everything that we hold dear as Americans and as people with any sense of a moral compass. Okay? So, if you're not indoctrinated, please just step away and look at it with clear eyes and understand that this cannot happen and it cannot stand. All right. That's it. That's the end. Okay? Feel free to ignore everything I just said and pretend it's not true. So thank you so much for listening and watching. Thank you for being here. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. For more content just like this. Stay safe out there, everybody. Stay frosty. Do the work. Now more than ever. Do the work and learn. Educate yourself. I'm begging you. Please. And I'll see you on the next one, all right? Have the day you deserve. Peace out.